President Biden is set to take executive action to protect about 500,000 undocumented immigrants from being deported. The sweeping immigration policy will allow certain undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens to apply for permanent residency without having to leave the country. It's one of the federal government's biggest relief initiatives since DACA. That's the program that protects undocumented immigrants who came to the U.S. as children from deportation and lets them work in the U.S. CNN's Arlette Saenz is live at the White House for us. Arlette, what more can you tell us about this executive action by the president? We're expecting an announcement this afternoon.
Yeah, Jim, this really marks a sweeping plan offering relief to undocumented immigrants in this country as President Biden is trying to tackle one of the thorniest political issues, border security and immigration, that has really vexed this country for decades. Now, this plan would essentially allow certain undocumented spouses married to U.S. citizens and their children to remain in the country as they apply for permanent residence. That's a change of the current policy, which requires that they leave the country to do so, really raising questions about whether they would be apprehended upon their return. They will now be able to stay here without fear of deportation. Now, this would apply to undocumented individuals who have been living in the U.S. for 10 years and married to a U.S. citizen as of yesterday. They would be allowed to work permanently or legally here in the U.S. And it's estimated this could impact about 500,000 spouses of U.S. citizens and then 50,000 children. Now, this comes just a few weeks after President Biden announced that major crackdown at the U.S. southern border, shutting off the ability of migrants crossing illegally to seek asylum when a certain threshold is met. That is something that polling has shown a majority of Americans have agreed with. If you take a look at a poll released a bit earlier this month, it was 70% approved of that action, 30% did not. But the move really frustrated a lot of immigration advocates and progressives in the president's party. So part of what Biden's trying to do here is appeal to some of those groups, deal with some of their concerns, and also it's a move that could appeal to Latino voters in key states like Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia.
All right, Arlette Saenz over at the White House for us. Thank you so much. In the meantime, Republicans are already slamming President Biden's executive action on immigration. And of course, former President Donald Trump has been offering a much more draconian vision for his immigration policy, promising mass deportations and detention camps for undocumented migrants, blasting those who cross the border illegally as, quote, poisoning the blood of this country. Let's discuss with CNN political commentators Maria Cardona and Scott Jennings. Maria, you're with me here in the studio. Let me go to you first. You were telling me you might be over there at the White House later today for this announcement. What do you think? Obviously, this is going to be welcomed by progressives, Latinos in this country, because just recently the president announced a pretty tough policy cracking down on asylum at the border. What do you think?
But this is more than it being welcomed by Latinos and progressives. It's going to be welcomed by the majority of American voters. We have seen in poll after poll after poll that the American people are not anti-immigrant. They're anti-chaos. They want solutions. And guess which party has been the one that has been offering the solutions that the American people want and that we know work? Those solutions are based on a balanced approach, strong, smart border security, which, frankly, the president and Democrats tried to do with Republicans on their bill until they said absolutely not, because Donald Trump wants to weaponize the issue, not solve it. And so President Biden had to take executive actions on his own to shore up border security. And so now President Biden is taking the second step, which is expanding legal pathways. Again, something that the vast majority of Americans in swing states support. And this is what the solution looks like. Democrats have been trying to do this for decades. It has been Republicans that have been the ones, especially since Donald Trump came onto the scene, that only want to weaponize this issue.
Yeah, Scott, let me ask you, I mean, do you think that Republicans in Congress sort of missed an opportunity there? They had a chance. They had a bipartisan bill that James Lankford from Oklahoma was helping to shepherd through the Senate. And now, because Donald Trump said, you know what, guys, let's not do this until after the election, the president's going out there and doing executive actions.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, they couldn't get Congress to agree. It's not the first time an issue couldn't find agreement in Congress. Won't be the last. I mean, if you're worried about reliving the past, why didn't Joe Biden do this on his first day in office as opposed to doing it today here in the shadow of a presidential campaign? I mean, the reality is he's governing by political panic. If this is such a great idea, Why didn't he do this on day one? Why didn't he do last week's executive order on day one? Why did he cancel all of Trump's immigration orders? I agree with Maria. People are tired of chaos, and they believe the chaos has been caused by Joe Biden and the way he's handled this for the last 3.5 years. The polling is clear. By the way, politically, I don't think the American people are in a pro-amnesty mood right now. You look at what Trump is proposing, there's a lot of polling that shows majority support for what Trump is saying, including among Hispanics in the United States of America. They
What
like
about
what
detention?
Trump is saying
But
about
Scott, what
cracking
about
down on illegal immigration.
What about
No.
detention camps and mass deportations? What about that?
Mass deportations has majority support in the United States and among Hispanic voters right
No.
now. It's
That's
recent
not
polling.
true,
You can look
Scott.
it up. No.
It
is at Maria.
No.
Maria, it is absolutely
not true.
When we get off the air and you Google it, you're going to be embarrassed, but it's absolutely true.
I will send you the actual polling from pollsters who actually know how to poll on this
You're
issue.
gonna be
Scott.
embarrassed.
I will send this
Well,
to you
we are
after
showing
our
the
segment.
CBS poll, 53%.
I have
47%.
issues with that poll because of exactly what I'm
Oh.
saying. But I do want to answer Scott.
Wait,
because
whoa.
he asked a
Who was
question.
right? I just want to make sure people don't miss it. Who was right? I just want to know who was right.
I want to answer Scott because he actually posed an interesting question. Why didn't Biden do this the first day in office? Actually, Scott, President Biden did try to do this the first day in office. The very first thing he did when he walked into the Oval Office was he put a bill together that actually does strengthen border security and expands legal pathways because he wants to do this right. He wants to do this the way that it's supposed to be done, working with Congress. But then guess what? Congressional Republicans slammed the door on any opportunity that would expand any legal pathways. And what we know from what happened under 4 years of President Trump, and this is something that Republicans lie over and over about, is that he eviscerated all of the legal pathways, including our asylum system, and he did nothing to eradicate illegal immigration. His numbers on illegal crossings went up his last year in office. So when President Trump was in office, he did nothing to fix this. He made it worse. And now it's actually kind of rich because what this also does, Scott and Jim, this keeps American families together. When Republicans scream that kids need a father and a mother, well, guess what? Then join us because this is exactly what this executive action is doing. And again, the vast majority of Americans, and I will send you the polling on this, Scott, from pollsters who know how to poll on this, absolutely agree with this. It is upwards of 3/4 of the American people support a balanced approach of strong border security, which I know you agree with, but also expanding legal pathways, especially for the long-settled immigrants that have been here who have contributed more than $7 trillion to our economy.
Scott?
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually just going to give in and say that I think Maria should go over to the White House today and encourage Joe Biden to run on as much amnesty as possible. I think if that's the way you want to read the polling, if that's the way you want to
It's not
interpret the mood in the
amnesty,
country,
Scott.
I think you should go over there and say, you know what, President Biden, the American people are behind you. Let's encourage
They are behind him.
as much of this as we possibly
They are
can.
behind- they are
I think you
behind
ought to,
him.
I think you ought to. I'm all in.
No, Scott, but here's
I'm
the
all
thing.
in.
Here's the thing, Scott. They are behind him on this action. And it's not amnesty. Scott, you know better. You're a smart guy. Calling it amnesty is a lazy and incorrect way to describe what's going on. Why don't you go tell your Republican friends in Congress that if they were really, really interested in trying to solve this issue, they would join Democrats and do this legislatively, both strong border security as well as expanding legal pathways. That's what works, and that's what the American people support.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that what Joe Biden did on his first day in office, canceling all of Donald Trump's executive orders, hurt him or helped him with the American people on this issue?
It helped our immigration system try to recover from the evisceration of what happened to Donald Trump. Because, see, here's the problem, Scott. Not everything has to be based on polls and politics. Some things, actually, real leaders focus on real solutions because it's good for America. And you know what? When you actually put solutions in front of party and politics, the party and politics follows. This is good policy, and it's good politics.
All right, guys. Great debate, spirited debate. We'll do it again some other time
Thanks,
when we've
Jim.
got more time. Maria and Scott, I didn't have to do any work during that segment. It was great. Guys,
Jim,
thanks very
Jim,
much.
where are you, Jim? Jim,
Next
you
time.
invited us on. What do you do here? What are you doing here?
Yeah. Next time I'll just leave the set, let
Do
you
what you're
guys go at
adopted.
it. All right.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, guys. All right. Thanks so much.